Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Emerald City Hockey's Seattle Kraken podcast.
All right, RJ, gonna kick off this episode of the Deep Dive with a couple gripes. Okay?
Okay.
All right. First things being, last week decided, okay, fun way to start the Deep Dive from now on. Got my water bottle here. Got this broken ponytail holder. Just snap it into the water bottle. It makes that cool bell ding sound that we all heard last week, right? Kind of sounded like a nautical bell. I can do it again real quick for everybody. It's all right. It's, it is what it is. Again, I'm snapping a broken ponytail holder into a water bottle. I thought it was fun, add a little flavor. Lo and behold, what do we know? A couple days later, Kraken have to outdo me by bringing in an actual bell.
Yes, they stole that one pretty quick. Yeah, they must have heard it on the podcast. Like, all right, no, we need to get a real bell in here. But yeah, that was definitely an added element to the pregame experience for the Kraken. Yeah, they have a bell now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, obviously. I thought of it first. But I like the idea that you could bring in famous people, celebrities, former athletes, whatever, and have them do something to help get the crowd riled up beyond just kind of standing up there.
Yeah, it was always kind of awkward when they'd have someone
Yeah.
like, all right, everyone, DJ Dallas is in the house. And like, it's cool. We think, the celebrity's cool. But they're just like, give it up. Look, it's the person.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just kind of awkward. But the bell, so it like gives them something to do. It works. I like that they had Rob McClanahan there from the Miracle on Ice team there to ring it first. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. It was just, the timing was just like, I was just,
Well, Dylan.
I just did this. What?
Okay, Dylan. The mail isn't all that fast. Like, the post office, it takes time. I'm sure your royalty check will get there soon.
Okay. I guess so.
Just be patient.
So that happened, of course. And then the other thing was, you and I, we decided on what games we're doing this month for the live commentary for our Patreon supporters. Those two games are going to be the game on the 19th, February 19th against Calgary, and the game on the 21st, just a couple days later, against Vancouver. That way we get, some rivals to the north, get those games in. Think those should be a lot of fun. One of them's a weekend game, hopefully means, everybody can join us. Little do I realize, RJ, obviously pandemic the last couple of years, haven't been able to do a lot of events, especially things like concerts. Little did I realize Killswitch Engage is in town, and the two nights that they're playing, 19th and 21st. Just like,
oh no, I'm sorry, Dylan.
You kidding me? You kidding me? I mean, they're technically playing on the 22nd. There's also a Kraken game on that night, but that's also out in Riverside, and I'm not driving out there for that. But I was just like, oh my, are you serious? Oh well. So that's it. All right, I'm done. I've done my gripes. Well, actually, you know what? I have a third gripe, RJ, and that's that you were able to be at the Kraken Skills Showcase yesterday, and I wasn't. That's a third gripe. And I know everybody's eager to hear, your thoughts and for you to kind of walk us through how it went. So without further ado, I'll pass it off over to you, except for when I'm going to throw in snarky comments or whatever, and you can take it away.
Yeah, feel free, throw in as many of those as you want. I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunities there. But yeah, I got to go to the Kraken's first ever Super Skills Showcase yesterday. Super fun. I thought they really executed the event well. Just a fun time for everyone. I saw lots of kids there too, which that's what it's all about too. Mm-hmm. It's about having a good time. And I just thought they executed it really well. Was glad to be there. I hope they do this every year because I think the players had fun too.
Oh yeah, it seemed like it.
Yeah, I think it was just a great time for everyone. And afterward, I kind of made a point to, ask some of the people, around, like, hey, did you have a good time? What'd you think of it? And everyone I talked to said they had a great time. And a lot of particularly families that I saw that they said, we haven't been to a Kraken game before. Like, we've never been to a game because, frankly, it's so expensive. But when we saw these tickets out here, $10 each, it looked like a fun event, brought the whole family and had a great time. And I think it's something that, really opened it up to people who, might not be able to go to a game yet. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. And I'm glad that, people like that were able to go and bring the whole family. Because yeah, I mean, it's expensive to go if you're solo. You got like a
Yeah.
family of 4 or 5, forget about it.
Exactly. Even with tickets getting down to the $60 range, you got a family of 4. That's $240 plus the concessions and all that.
Yeah,
That's
ticket
really tough.
fees too.
Exactly. So, great to see a lot of people, get to go, and the attendance was pretty good. Like the lower bowl was pretty much full. So that was really cool to see. So getting into the event itself.
Well, before
Yeah.
that, how'd the
Yeah.
meetup go?
Oh yeah, of course. The meetup, the ECH meetup, it was great. It was great to get to meet some of you. I'm sorry, yeah, it's like the event was, was awesome and the meetup was great. It was perfect weather too. It was nice and warm, it was sunny. And yeah, it was great to see some of you, shout out to like Ty, Lindsay, Jared, great to meet you. And also give away some of these new ECH pins they have that came in. That was the mystery item. So it was great to give some of those away. And yeah, we're definitely got to do some of those in the future too. I'll try and plan them when it's not doors opening time exactly, because I think that may have hindered things a little bit. That's my bad. But yeah, we definitely have to do that at a future Kraken game. Hopefully one that Dylan's at too. So, they get the chance to meet you as well. So yeah, that was really great to do.
Awesome. Glad that turned out. All right, get into it now.
Yes. Okay. So getting into the event, they had, I think, 9 different challenges that they would compete in. And it was draft, basically. It was Team Grubauer versus Team Drieger. And it was something they kind of announced via Twitter, about an hour before the event, which was cool. First of all, I liked the whole draft system. I liked that you had goalies picking teams. I'm sure you saw that video, Dylan.
Yep.
I mean, what'd you think of that? Kind of the commentary from the goalies and who they picked.
It was perfect. I just thought that whole thing was perfect. That's exactly, the way to go. We were talking on our various podcasts about how we missed that from the real All-Star game. And you bring it back. It's just fun to hear guys, especially in a situation like this where everybody's on the same team. So you can just hear them talk about their teammates anytime you kind of get more candid, joking responses about players on the same team. I just think it's always perfect.
For sure. It's a recipe for good stuff. And so it was cool to watch that, just being outside the arena, get hyped for everything and see the two teams. So that's kind of how, it worked team wise. So I guess we'll just start with the first event. It was the fastest dresser competition. And they showed a little video of, I believe it was Donskoy and was it Zarnik? Who was the other one? But they were competing to get dressed or whatever. And they got dressed around the same amount of time. But that was just kind of the intro because they brought a couple junior Kraken youth hockey players in. And that was the contest of like one for each team. Who's the fastest dresser? And it was just getting all your hockey equipment on. And one of the kids had his dad helping him out, kind of putting the pads on and everything. And the other was trying to do it himself. And I felt bad for that kid. He was going a little slow. And apparently Philip Grubauer, because he was on Team Grubauer, he felt bad about that too. So he rushes over and tries to help the kid. And it's funny because it's so incoherent. He basically kind of threw the chest protector like over his head, just like, go, just trying to stick pads to him everywhere. But so that was a fun contest. Good to see Gru get involved there. And I think Team Drieger took the win on that one.
Yeah, really. I saw kind of highlights of that on Twitter. Show me you've never dressed a kid for hockey before without, telling me you've never dressed a kid for hockey before. That's what I have to say about Grubauer's performance there.
Yeah, but it was good to kind of start everything off on that light note. Yeah, so Team Drieger with the win there. Also, I'll get into this now. The point system. I don't know how they were doing it. You'd have one of the teams clearly win a challenge and they would just split the 2 points for everything. Clearly they want it to matter at the end. But yeah, it was interesting scoring system.
Yeah, I mean you almost don't really even need one, right? I mean it's everybody's there for fun. Yeah.
But you have a trophy. So I will get to that at the end, but that's the thing. You need a winner. You do need a winner.
All
so
right,
I will say that much. Okay. So next was the fastest stick taper, and this was a head-to-head contest. Actually, there were a couple skaters on each side, but everyone was focused on Grubauer versus Drieger. They had the pucks out. They had the tape ready to go, and Grubauer just blew Drieger away on this one. It was not even close. I think Drieger technically did finish faster, but he only taped, you know, he didn't tape the full stick. I'll say that much. And watching Grubauer, I mean, just the speed, the efficiency, like in this, circles of taping, like he has clearly done this before so many times and at speed. So of course, German efficiency blew Drieger away. So yeah, I think Drieger did finish slightly sooner. And then Grubauer turns to him and looks, he's like, yeah, but look, you didn't even really tape it.
Yeah.
So they had the equipment manager there actually as a judge to make sure that it was done with enough quality. And he's like, yeah, gave Drieger a thumbs down, gave Grubauer the thumbs up. So Team Grubauer won that one.
I was going to say, you got to bring the equipment man in because, like, oh man, they do that stuff so fast.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You could have almost seen how many the equipment manager could do in the same amount
of time that one player.
Yeah, that would have been fun almost too.
Yep. So that happened. They split the points, of course, for that one. I know. This is kind of how it worked.
So the all-star skills shootout judges again.
I know. Yeah, basically. I mean, we'll get to judges because we had them for the breakaway challenge.
Okay.
So anyway, next was the shooting accuracy challenge. So you had 5 targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm counting them. So you had obviously one in each corner of the net, and then you had one that was kind of 2 targets big, and it was top center of the net. So we had kind of the videos on Twitter for those who wanted to see it. And you would take one shot from like very close to the net on the side, and then 2 from around the hash marks, and then another one. 3 from around the hash marks, and another one from the other side. So you could hit whichever target you wanted from whichever spot, but that's kind of how you had to do it. And you went from one side over to the other, kind of like a game of, is it Around the World, like playing basketball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you do that, and then you have your time. It's a timed event. And then at that point, the clock stops, but then you go to the blue line, and there have 5, what are called golden pucks. And if one of those hits the crossbar, you try and shoot those, hit the crossbar. And if you can do that, it takes 10 seconds off that total time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so those were very important. Yeah. So interesting kind of format. But I liked it because it added some drama there that even if you weren't the fastest, if you were within 10 seconds of the time, you had a chance to go and win. And it's not easy to hit the crossbar. Like, it's not automatic, certainly hitting the crossbar from that distance. So as far as the player results, the winner was Will Borgen at 17 seconds. He had 27 seconds through the first part, and it was kind of unclear whether or not he had hit the crossbar on the very last of the golden pucks. We all thought he did, but then, it was unclear. So actually the winner was then announced as Riley Sheehan with 18 seconds because it was for sure that he had hit the crossbar. But they were both on Team Drieger, so it wasn't even close. Team Drieger really cleaned up in this one. You had Borgen doing well. Sheehan was actually the best through the real accuracy shooting portion. So cool to see that he can do that. Zarnik, so you had Borgen 17, Sheehan 18, and Zarnik 19 seconds. Really good times. And then Eberly 28 for the team. On Team Grubauer, you had Mccann with 21, Lauzon 26, Gord with 38, and Wenberg with 59.
Okay. Well, okay. Wenberg, maybe that makes sense. Now we know why he doesn't take a lot of shots. What happened with Yanni Gord there?
Okay, so Wenberg, as we were watching this, it was just kind of sad. All the misses were like, okay, he's never shooting again after this. So Yanni Gord, what happened? And this is... So he had a little trouble hitting some of the targets early on, but at a certain point, he's just like, okay, this is enough. So once he hit the final targets, he goes over for the golden pucks, and he skates to the far blue line.
Oh, no.
He takes the golden pucks on the other side and just starts shooting them from the far blue line, trying to hit the crossbar. He didn't hit the crossbar. And then he skates up to the near blue line where his own golden pucks were and just winds up for a clapper on the middle one. Did not hit the crossbar any of those times. But he was just having a fun time with it, that's for sure.
Okay, all right, that makes a little bit more sense. I was gonna say, wait, did he go first? Like, why is he going to the wrong blue line? But that
No,
makes a
no,
little sense.
it was intentional. He was just having a good time with it. Um,
Okay, but yeah, it's,
yeah,
still interesting results all around. I think, um, just a lot of names maybe that would not have been expected
yep.
at the
But hey,
top
I
of those
mean,
leaderboards.
yeah, in the draft, Will Borgen was the first
He
overall
was.
pick.
He
And I
was.
think the players knew something there. I think Drieger knew something there. He was probably a candidate for MVP of this whole thing. So good on Will Borgen.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
yep.
was
So
gonna
then,
say, what do you think about that whole kind of staggered depths and different angles for a shooting accuracy competition? Because obviously very different than what we see at the NHL All Star Game.
right, I think it actually did make it more fun in some ways if you're going to do something that's timed. I
Mm-hmm.
still think for the NHL, when they should just do targets in shots. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Just get the percentage there. But if for a timed event, it did make it more fun. And you had the passer have to kind of switch sides behind the net once the players switched sides to give him the passes. So I did like that element to it. And it was interesting too because sometimes if it was one of the top targets left on maybe the near side, and you had a guy just shooting it on that side from close up, it almost makes it more difficult
Mm-hmm.
because it's a worse angle for the shot essentially. So I kind of liked it.
Yeah, no, it seemed like something that would add a lot of energy to the event,
Hmm.
and certainly because it's a timed event and everything, it adds to kind of that frenetic, frantic, you know, struggle, and the players like, okay, did I hit it? Did I not? Like maybe they
Hmm.
make a break a little early for the next spot,
Yep,
like all that fun stuff. So I am a fan of that.
for sure. And actually, that reminds me, there was a couple plays where a player would hit the outside of the post, but it would knock the target down.
Oh,
Like,
okay,
well, the target's gone, so
yeah, yeah.
moving on. Um,
And interesting that they had the like kind of double wide target up top, like hanging down from the crossbar. Because usually shooting that you think of like target shooting in hockey, it would be at the bottom. It would be 5 hole.
right. Yeah, the larger target. Yeah, it was interesting the placement. I mean, yeah, when I saw it on the net, I thought that was interesting. That one was kind of used as the gimme almost
Okay,
because, if you're going top for
yeah,
the double wide target, it's the easiest.
yeah,
So I think it kind of gave the players one to they almost saved it, I think, some of them, for the end, just like, okay, we know we can get this one.
yeah. Because that was my thought was, well, maybe 5 hole would just be too easy. Like you just kind of
Yeah.
basically
Yeah,
pass
slide
into
it.
it. Yeah, yeah,
See there that would have helped Wenberg.
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, he was struggling with those high targets. So next though, we had the obstacle relay race. So this was a 5-man team, so they all go through the same relay race. And you had a few different events. You had like those tight turns, kind of, weaving, in and out. Then you had the mini nets, Dylan. I know you'll be happy to see
Yep.
there was the mini nets,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a saucer pass over a little barrier. You
Yeah.
have
There
to
we
saucer
go.
it over, get in the mini net. We know this event. Then they had some like stick segments that were looked about a foot long, and they were arrayed a few inches in front of each other, and you had to kind of stick handle between those stick lengths, and that's probably the most difficult one. It's
Yeah.
hard because if you knock it over, it gets all messed up.
Yep.
So that's how that worked. And then you make a pass to your teammate who's waiting down in the corner. Teammate passes it back to you. You circle around the net, and then you have to hit the far net, get the puck in the far net. So if you can hit a shot from mostly the length of the rink, that's going to help you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you do that, your teammate who's waiting down in the corner can start theirs, and so it goes through the 5. Um, so I thought this was a fun event. Uh, it let's see. So I forget which team went first. It was team Grubauer went first,
Okay.
and they did all right. It was Donskoy and Donato probably had a combined clip of 30 seconds. It felt like they were
Wow.
just so fast through everything. And then everyone else just did kind of poorly. And so the total time was 3:34, 3 minutes and 34 seconds. But like shout out to Donskoy and Donato getting through that obstacle course, so well. And I'm not surprised. Like those are probably
No.
the two guys you'd pick out of that to do really well, especially Donskoy with the tight turns and the skating. I mean, he got through that so fast.
I was gonna say we've been talking. I mean, really about both of them being useful in games in all facets, but especially somebody like Donskoy, it's just like versatility to the max, his
For
skill
sure.
set.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, he hit the mini nets 3 shots in a row to close it out. Just boom, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
which obviously saved him a lot of time. So they do that in 3:34, and then it is Team Drieger's turn, and you can tell like from all the splits. And yes, I did the math in between, and I said, okay, so that's 42 seconds a person on average. And I kept track of the splits going for
Mm-hmm.
Team Drieger, and it was all staying right on pace. Until finally it got to Morgan Geeky with about 42 seconds to go when he's starting. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be close.
Uh-huh.
So, Geeky gets through the turns, he does the saucer passes about on pace. And so he gets to the stick handling part, through the sticks. And Team Grubauer realizes, okay, we might be in trouble now because he started off pretty good with those.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody throws a glove at him and throws their stick out in front of him too. And then the whole bench sees that and just starts chucking all their equipment at him as he's doing the stick handling, trying to sabotage him. But Geeky gets through it unfazed. I don't know how he avoided all the pieces of equipment there. Makes the pass into the corner and takes the shot from far away with, about like 8 seconds to go to beat the time. Misses, so he has to come up and grab this puck. His teammates are trying to pass it to him, and he ends up getting it in the net with a tenth of a second to go.
Oh.
So he beats the time by a tenth of a second. Now, we didn't see what the time on the very end was. We just had 3:34 in mind, and it ended at 3:34. So like, is this a tie? What is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, he just beat the time by a tenth of a second, despite the sabotage attempts from Team Grubauer. So that one was definitely the most dramatic of all of them because the fans all had that time in mind and saw how close it was shaping up to be.
Yeah, I mean, not only do you get the extremely close finish, but also just the fact that, both teams are taking close to 4 minutes. Like that's a long period of kind of prolonged action for something like this. Like you don't get a lot of that in skills competition stuff. They're generally start stop, right? Unless it's Wenberg and the shooting accuracy thing. You're not getting close to a minute usually. So that's a really exciting one. We talked about this. I've always loved the relay stuff at the All-Star Game skills competition. Sad that it wasn't part of it this year. I just think that all that stuff, it's fun. It's always fun to see who is that, elite puck handler who can just, quickly through all the, stationary pucks on the ice or whatever it is. The people who there's always someone who ends up struggling with the passing into the mini nets, and it's always fun to watch them sweat it out and have fun. Like I just love all of that stuff. So I'm really, really happy that the Kraken included something like this. And yeah, I almost wonder, had Geeky not pulled it out at the end there, does Team Grubauer get a DQ, you think?
Yeah, I mean, you have to see how you judge it. It seemed like, all's fair in this kind of event. Yeah, but Geeky didn't complain. So, yeah, I mean, it's easier when you get the win.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, good for him on being able to, deal with the sabotage while doing the puck handling stuff. I know it's probably not easy with all the like Pizza Hut grease on his hands. I mean, I know people talk about greasy mitts all the time, but I got to think with Morgan Geeky, maybe that takes on a new meaning, right?
yeah, no, can provide some slickness, and we'll see that in some future things. And yeah, we'll get to Pizza Hut a little bit later on too.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say that's a good shirt idea. The greasy mitts with the Pizza Hut grease. There's got to be something there for us to do.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the obstacle relay race, fun event, and yeah, I mean, like, just what a finish. So next it was the puck juggling, the juggle the puck event, and I was looking forward to this one because we made our picks for these various events, at least the ones that we knew. And do you remember who we had winning this one?
I don't. I was hoping you had it as part of your spreadsheets, RJ.
I know. I know. I'm sure it's somewhere there in an Excel spreadsheet saved from when we were recording the podcast. I know one of us had Jared Mccann. I think it was you.
I think it was me. Yeah, I thought his forearm strength was gonna do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how it worked was each team had, I believe it was 5 players that they would send out, and you would juggle the puck, for as long as you could. But they're all in the same enclosed area, and you can kind of run into each other. Interference was allowed.
Okay.
So
It's
you'd had
very
guys
important.
bump into each other. So really the skill was just kind of staying away from everybody while juggling the puck. And so in the first round, Jared McCann like blew everyone away. He even ran into a couple players and kept the puck juggling. It was really impressive to see.
Well, I was gonna say, was it based on a number of juggles or just time? Like, could Jared
Just time.
McCann use
Whoever was
his?
the last one to have the puck still juggle on their stick before it hit the ice.
Okay, because I was gonna say, could Jared McCann like use his incredible forearm strength just to skyrocket that thing, run, knock everybody down, and then just collect it once, and you're good.
You know what? If you had the time, it probably would work better in the final round when there only had three than in when there's I think like 9 other players to go after.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you need some serious forearm strength for that.
McKinnon could
But
do it. I've seen him, catch pucks from like he'll launch those things into the rafters and he'll come down and he'll catch it. It's wild that guys can do that.
so interesting strategy. We'll see if they try it next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Jared McCann, super impressive. It was clear from the start he was the best puck juggler.
Mm-hmm.
So in the second round, you were getting, like the finalists sorted out, and then you had, I believe, Morgan Geeky, and it was definitely Geeky, and I think Ryan Donato from Team Drieger, from there. So as for the finals, so you had a 3-man final, basically how it worked, and you had Geeky. Oh man, I don't remember if it's Donato or not.
I mean,
But
Donato fits with the forearm strength equals good puck juggler thing.
yeah, so you've got like Geeky and Donato on Team Drieger, and then you've got McCann for Team Grubauer, and it's a 3-man final. Now, Team Drieger strategized here. You could call it maybe a little bit of foul play, like in the last event, but the strategy became clear right away. Morgan Geeky just kind of sat there in a corner juggling the puck, and Ryan Donato made a beeline for Jared McCann and just knocked the puck right off of his stick, lost his own puck, and Geeky's just standing there and takes the win.
Yep. As someone who picked Jared McCann, I protest. It's my favorite thing to do when playing or watching sports, right, RJ?
Yep.
to file a protest. I file a protest.
And I think you've got a legitimate reason for this protest, because it was clear early on that Jared McCann was the best at this. No knock on Morgan Geeky, but yeah. And Geeky was asked by, was it Forsland or, whoever was running the thing right after, he's like, do you think it helped that you had 2 people on your team in the 3-man final? And he's like, yeah, I think so.
yeah, just a little. Pretty good there. That's again, it's a fun event. I like that they got creative with some of these. It wasn't just a straight up, copy paste from the NHL All-Star Skills Comp.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's cool to see some different events too. Like, they could have just gone with whatever the same events were, I guess, minus the fountain face off for the,
Yeah.
the 21. So then you get to the fastest skater competition, and I was really interested to see who was going to be the fastest skater here. I had picked Yanni Gord. I forget who you picked.
I forget too.
It's okay. It doesn't matter because
the point is, did we get goalies? Did the team captains?
No, we did not get goalies.
Oh.
We didn't even get Kraken skaters.
Oh.
So what they did is each team swapped out their player for an 8U junior Kraken girls player.
Okay.
And so then they did the fastest lap. I forget which one won. Sorry. I'm
sure it's on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the fastest skater competition, and I'm not entirely surprised they did that. I mean, obviously, like, great for the junior Kraken players. That's great they get to do that. And I know that it's not really a popular competition among the players to do, like in the actual All-Star game, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, if you saw the guys mic'd up, like I think it was Kempe, he's just, my legs are burning, they're on fire.
Yeah.
I don't think they really wanted to do that, to be honest. Because it does, going full at it for a whole lap does kind of take a lot out of your legs.
Yeah, and it's one of those, you could get embarrassed, right? Certainly if you fall, that's something, but also if you're just like really slow, like it can hurt the ego.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have to go all out, that's for sure. So yeah, didn't want to risk that, I think. So Then, speaking of hurting the ego, and really a competition that the ego was probably most attached to out of all of these, the hardest shot competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very much looking forward to this, and I was very pleased by the results too, because you had a lot of different players shooting. Like that's what I was most satisfied with, is that each team had 5 players shooting. Actually, Team Grubauer had 6 players shooting. And so you really got to see the range of shot speeds from everyone.
Yeah. I mean, I know based on at least the captain's remarks, though, there might have been some, questionable stuff going on.
Yes, talking to Gio afterwards, we'll say this now. Talking to Gio afterwards, he did say 100% something was wrong with the radar gun. It's got to be, he's like, either something's wrong with the radar gun or the guys were a little too tired after the game, last night. Mm-hmm. So he's like, I'm going to go with the radar gun. And as he was walking away, not even part of the presser, as he's just walking away, he's like, yeah, I've seen guys consistently go over 100. Like, I've seen a 107 in person, he said. So he definitely felt something was a little wrong with the radar gun.
That was the thing that stood out to me. I was like, okay, nobody broke 100. Like I get it, right? Breaking 100 miles an hour, that's a huge deal. It's probably, not everybody can do that just because you're in the NHL. It's a big thing. But I was like, to have that many guys compete and none of them got to triple digits?
Yeah, I think something was probably... You have to kind of grade it on a curve, I think, a little bit with this radar gun. But it was still good to have the numbers there. And I think relative to each other, they were probably correct.
Yeah, it seemed like... Because a lot of guys were right around the same, it seemed like, which is probably accurate.
And it made sense because you had guys taking multiple attempts, and usually it was the same guys doing about as well.
Yeah.
So it made sense from that perspective. So starting out, you had Adam Larson taking the very first shot, and I'm like, all right, here we go. This was Dylan's pick to win it.
He was my dark horse candidate.
Yep. And so he starts out, shoots an 82.
Yeah.
82 miles per hour. I was like, oh, okay, is this what this contest is gonna be? I'm like, all right, I think it's the first shot too.
Did he like top the puck or something? Like,
no, the shot looked okay. So when it came out as 82, we were all kind of surprised. So like, all right, Dylan, good pick. So then next was Jared Mccann. Now I wasn't sure about him because everyone was talking about Mccann hardest shot, but like, you think of it as a wrist shot, right? Yep. I mean, he's got a lethal wrist shot. I don't know about slap shot. He can do the one-timer, but, I don't know.
I mean, that's what I was saying.
Shoots. Yeah, he shoots. It's an 81. We're like, oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah. Like, maybe there is something wrong with this.
Is anyone going to break 90 today? We're asking ourselves. And Mccann clearly did not like that. He was just like, he was pretty upset about that. So... Then you get Jeremy Lauzon. He comes in, shoots a 94.
All right.
Which makes Larson and Mccann instantly look pretty bad.
Very much so, yes.
So that really got the crowd going. That got everyone into it, to start things off. So like, all right, Lauzon's a contender. Then you got Vince Dunn coming in. I was like, okay, what can he do? He's a little smaller, really. Shoots a 90.
Yeah.
So like, respectable. Again, making Larson and Mccann look pretty bad.
And again, you think of Dunn's placement. Like, you can get 90 with the placement he can have. That's pretty good.
Yep. No, for sure. I mean, it's at the end of the day, like, talent on all of these, for sure.
Yeah.
Then you get the big rig, Jamie Alexiak. And we're like, all right, he's got to be a contender. Shoots a 94. So he's tied with Lauzon. Like, all right, here we go. Him and Lauzon, these are the contenders here. And then you got Philip Grubauer. I love that Grubauer took a shot. He was not in his goalie pads or anything. He was, not wearing a whole lot up top. But he takes a shot with a skater stick, by the way. No goalie stick.
I would hope
and he shoots a 78.
That's not bad.
Not bad, all things considered. This is a goalie here. And, he's shooting around what Larson and Mccann are shooting, on their first shot. So good on Grubauer doing that. I know everyone was pumped up to see that. Then you've got, for Team Drieger, you got Will Borgen, shoots a 94. So now he's in the race.
Is that just where it maxes out?
I know. We felt like, okay, 94 is the highest anyone's going to be able to shoot, it seems like, on this radar gun. Then the captain, Mark Giordano, and there was kind of this build up too. Like he was ready, like, all right, let's go. And he was asked, actually, they interviewed him right beforehand. And he said, hey, is any chance, like, what's the chance somebody else is going to win this hardest shot? And he's like, not a chance. No chance. It's going to be me. So he really embraced that, which was cool to see from the captain. Goes out, shoots an 86. So he was not happy with that for sure.
No.
And I think that's might be where the radar gun grievance started.
Yeah, probably.
He got Riley Sheehan, shoots an 88. Morgan Geeky, and that was my pick to win the hardest shot competition, shoots a 92. So, all right, he's in it.
Yep.
And then Carson Soucy with an 89. So then it goes to the second round for everybody. And we figure, okay, maybe with the second shot, guys can get their numbers a little bit better. Adam Larson up first, 88. So somewhat respectable, but he's not winning.
No. Again,
so
I said his shot is hard. It's effective in a game setting, but,
It's heavy. It might not be the fastest.
Yeah. And again, you have slight advantage of seeing, you've been to basically every practice these players have had. I've been to two.
Fair enough.
So
I have seen a lot of Morgan Geeky slap shots, I will tell you that.
Again, I file a protest. You've seen them more than I have.
So then Jared Mccann, who, if we remember, has the lowest score of any skater to shoot this puck with an 81, you can tell he took that to heart because he steps way back and takes basically a whole lap behind the other net takes this long run up all the way across the rink, steps into the shot, and shoots a 96.
Yeah.
And that's the time to beat. And we're like, okay, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah, and let's be clear, like, that almost makes it harder in some respects, too. To like have that much speed going into it because it makes your window for like perfect timing a lot smaller when you're moving that fast.
Yes.
To time it up and to be able to rotate your hips and everything while going that fast to really get all of it. That actually in my mind makes it seem more difficult to get a higher speed. But props to Mccann for being able to pull that one off.
For sure, it's not easy. But he did it perfectly. It's a risk-reward move, and he got the reward.
Yep.
So then next was Jeremy Lauzon, and we're like, all right, he probably has a chance to beat it here. And his stick breaks.
Ugh.
His stick breaks on the shot, and the radar gun, it registered. He got a 29.
Okay,
he got 29 miles an hour.
That explains the 29, because looking at the spreadsheet you posted on Twitter, I was like, what happened there?
Yep, his stick broke on the shot. So I mean that's a lot of power going into it too. So they let him shoot again, which I'm glad they did, and he shoots a 95.
All right, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. One short of Mccann. Vince Dunn's second shot was lower, was an 86. Then you got Alexiak again. Figure he's a contender. Shoots another 94.
Okay.
So consistency for Jamie Alexiak, but McCann's still the leader. Grubauer declined to take a second shot. Probably didn't need to.
No.
Will Borgen, who we were thinking was a big contender, shot a 94 the first time, shoots at 86 the second time, so he's out. Giordano, redemption time, shoots a 93, so respectable.
Yeah,
respectable.
Very much so.
So the captain redeems himself there. Riley Sheehan with a 92, and then Morgan Geeky winds up 96. He ties with Mccann. And Geeky also has this really unorthodox windup. He just, he doesn't go back. He just puts his stick straight up to the sky and then shoots. It's this really weird looking windup, but it works for him.
Yeah, you do with what works. Like there's,
Yep. So Soucy closes it out with a 92, and you've got the 2-man final between Geeky and Mccann. Mccann shoots first. Shoots a 93, and without the giant, skating wind-up this time. So good for him there. And so then you've got Geeky, 93, the number to beat, and he shoots a 98. Just absolutely ripped the puck, getting better every time, and Morgan Geeky wins the hardest shot, as I predicted. So I will take the win with Morgan Geeky on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I filed the protest of you seeing more and the protest of he had a much smaller wait time between his second and third shot than Mccann did. Because I do think that the warm-up time, because that was one of the things I noticed when I saw the field as a whole. I was like, I don't know that guys could really get into a rhythm and like use that first shot as a good warm-up shot when then you've got to sit and wait, for a bunch of guys to go after you. Like that would be very
that is
difficult.
a good point.
Because we see that every year at the All-Star Skills Comp, right? Like they need to kind of get going in order to get loose and to feel it and kind of to take that first one and feel, okay, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Just to get comfortable and all that stuff. And then by sitting that long, you risk A, not being able to get loose because of it. You can get cold again. And B, you could overthink things a lot. So
yeah,
it was interesting that they had the fields so large like that.
Yes, I mean you make a good point there, and I might have liked to see them just do 2 shots each back to back for each guy. You might get some higher numbers there.
Yeah.
But I do like that they had the field as large as it was. It was good to see
Yes.
a variety of guys and what they could do.
Exactly. And it is one of those things because I know a lot of people on Twitter, I was seeing Alexiak's name thrown around just because of the size, the height, right? It's like, well, Chara's got the fastest one ever, right? Like it's because of this height thing. And obviously the height and the leverage, all that stuff helps a bunch. But technique at the end of the day, you got to know how to rotate your hips, how to transfer energy from your lower body to upper body through your shoulders into that stick. Make sure you've got that nice flex on the stick. Make sure you're connecting with the puck in the right spot, keeping the puck low so it registers better on the radar. Lot that goes into it that a couple inches here or there probably isn't going to make up for that in the height department.
For sure, there's a lot more to it than just height, than just size, than just how much weight you can get into it. So yeah, it's cool to see kind of the different technique. All right, so on to, well, I guess it was the second to last of the challenges. It was the Breakaway challenge. Now this is kind of the showmanship one. This is where it's judged. We've seen this at the NHL skills competition level. Most recently with Trevor Zegras. Pulling out
robbed.
the dodgeball stops. Yes, he was absolutely robbed. Now there were some judges there. I think had some couple judges that were kids, and then you had the opposing goalie for that team as a judge as well. So it's 3 judges for each guy. You get a total score out of 30.
Nice, fair, and partial judge there.
Yeah, no, totally. It was interesting to see, the goalie's take on these things. So I'm gonna basically just go by player here and see what I remember, from what they did. We'll start with Team Drieger. You had Mark Giordano bringing out his son, having him take the shot. Thought that was really cool. Good moment for him and his son. The goalie did this amazing evasive maneuver to get out of the way of the shot. It was actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool to see. He got 30 points. He got a perfect score, all 10s. Just wholesome. Gotta love it. Then you had Jordan Eberly trying to go, the move where you take the puck between your legs and you try and spin it out of there and do kind of like the little Michigan fling thing. Tried it, did not work. And he gets 0. He gets a 0 from the judges, which was far and away the lowest score. I don't know what Eberly did. Other guys tried moves that didn't work either. But no, Eberly just got a 0.
Well, everybody's jealous. He got that nice paid vacation in Vegas last weekend. So
yeah, see, there you go. That's that must be it. Then Will Borgen, I think, just had a kind of just a nice slick deke. Deke the goalie out. A few guys just tried deking the goalie out, and they worked, and they would usually get okay scores. He got 21 points.
Yeah.
Mason Appleton, and this was probably my favorite of all of them, gets to the blue line, throws his stick away, grabs another stick, a lefty stick, and skates it in, and hit the top shelf corner lefty.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty impressive from Appleton. It was a pretty hard shot too. That's certainly easier said than done. Hitting those. So he got 28 points. That was good for the second highest score of anyone. Good. Yep. And then Morgan Geeky, I believe, what did he try? I think he tried to do that spin around one where, you kind of spin around and then throw it at the net that way. He pulled it off, but shot it wide. So he gets a 23 points for that.
Should have just taken a slapper. Goalie would have dove out of the way.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, after winning the hardest shot competition, that's probably the way to go. Um, then you had Ryan Donato, who did a cool, like the Datsuk move where you out to the forehand and then move it,
Yeah.
pull it back to the backhand, one of those shootout moves. So he did that. Um, so now I'm kind of looking at the video because I'm reminding myself the different moves that they were doing.
I was gonna say you and I have tried that many a time on the sport court to
Yes, no,
varying
we have.
degrees of success.
Yeah, exactly. But he pulled it off. He got it to work. Um, and then you had Adam Larson, your boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Just did a little backhand forehand move and beat the goalie. Pretty standard.
Efficient. The
Efficient.
Swede. All that matters is that the puck goes in the net.
Exactly. And then you had Hayden Fleury try and do the little one-handed, kind of poke the puck forward. Didn't work. The goalie stopped it. And then let's see. Am I missing anything score-wise? It's a lot to remember, guys. Sorry,
No, you're good. You're good. No, it is interesting because I think a lot of the guys that maybe didn't try the crazy stuff, maybe it's not so much because they couldn't. It's just odds are not a lot of Kraken games go to shootouts, and obviously in a shootout, these are the guys that are probably unless the shootout's going 15 rounds deep, we might never see them in this situation. So they were just trying to show like, hey, look, I could get it done if I need to.
Yep, for sure. I think that's a good point there. So the last one that I missed was Alex Wenberg, and I thought he had the second lowest score with 12 points. I thought he should have gotten higher because he actually tried something creative. He did the whole, skate in and then kick your stick to shoot it.
Oh, okay.
The shot went wide, so I get the lower score, but still, like, I thought that was good. He tried something creative. I like that out of Wenberg. Interesting note with this, and I'm sure it was not intentional, but anyway, the song "Can't Hold Us" from Macklemore was playing like kind of the whole time as background music, and I don't know how this worked out, but the lyric in the song, "Can I kick it? Thank you," literally right as he kicked the puck, that was like in the song. So I don't think that was planned, but interesting.
Spooky.
I noticed.
Love it.
Yep. So anyway, I thought he should have gotten a higher score than he did.
Yeah, because we never see people try that move.
No, we don't. And the few times we do see it, seems like the goalies get really mad. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I don't know why that's one that angers goalies. Yeah. But hey, when you have like an e-bug in net, that's when you try it. They can't get mad.
Exactly.
Yep. So that that is the breakaway challenge. Gio with the win there. Having his son come out. Nice wholesome moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like a couple people had their kids. Obviously Yanni Gord with his daughter a lot. It seemed like on Twitter.
Yes.
Throughout the
evening. No, that was nice. Yeah, he brought his daughter out for warm-ups. That was nice for her, obviously. You had a few kids there. I think Alex Wenberg might have had his daughter there on the bench. It was definitely a nice day for the kids and for the players' kids. So again, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
So on to the last event. It was the 3-on-3. So you get a little bit of 3-on-3 hockey there. I think it was like 7-minute clock or something like that. And it's always interesting with these because, as the player, like you never know kind of how hard to compete. It was a little awkward. One thing that was cool is they had the UW men's hockey team goalie in there playing goalie for the 3-on-3 challenge. So that was cool to see. But yeah, it was interesting. I preferred the defensive plays. There wasn't a whole lot offense wise, but leave it to Yanni Gord to back check full on in a 3-on-3 thing in a skills showcase. Yeah, he was back checking. He was breaking up plays. There was one where it was like a 2-on-0 basically, and he threw his stick to try and break it up, and he did. He broke up the pass across by throwing his stick. So Yanni Gord, you can't turn it off with him.
You can't. You see it and you just act. Or you can't bear to just watch it happen.
Yep. But the best defensive play, I think, of the 3-on-3 was the captain, Gio, laying out, doing the whole starfish on the ice, to break up, a pass with Jared Mccann and everything, taking it on a 2-on-1. So that was cool to see. He actually broke up the play, so it worked out too. But I like the defensive plays. Obviously, not the highest effort level from everyone 3-on-3.
Yeah.
It was a fun event. And of course, they tied that.
Oh, of course. No sudden death shootout or anything.
Yep. But Team Drieger did have the 11-9 lead going into it. So Team Drieger was the winner.
All right.
So Drieger over Grubauer there. Yes, there is a trophy. They actually gave him a trophy. Drieger carrying it around with pride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see who wins it next year. Hopefully they do one of these next year.
Yes, an ill-begotten trophy for screwing with Jared McCann, my boy, in the puck juggling contest.
Yeah, we won't mention the whole geeky relay thing, huh?
Yeah, no, not at all. No, it sounds like it was a really good event. I'm glad it went well. I'm glad everybody seemed to enjoy it. I didn't see like any negatives posted on Twitter from anybody, and that's huge when you're doing something like this. Everything seemed to go off without a hitch. It's also, I mean, it is one of those events, you start having problems with something. Maybe the radar gun doesn't work on one of the shots or whatever. You can laugh it off, kind of keep going. Because it's so relaxed. But no, I'm glad it worked out, and I'm glad that everybody enjoyed it, because I do think that means, looking ahead to years from now, hopefully it is a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's, as good as you could possibly ask for the first time. And hopefully they see that. Credit to everyone with the Kraken who got that all set up and everything. I mean, a lot of work goes into planning something like that, and it was really well executed. So that was good to see. And yeah, just a fun time also covering it as media. There weren't a whole lot of us up there, but we were having a really fun time, just talking back and forth about all the things happening, kind of chirping everything. This was certainly the most fun, post whatever media availability, afterwards. I mean, there were no serious questions. It was all just jokes and having a good time. We got Giordano and Geeky. Gio was, of course, all about the radar gun being broken. It's just like 100% something's wrong with that. So that was fun. And then, Morgan Geeky, he's hilarious. We know that. Of course, getting back to Pizza Hut, I had to ask him, congrats on winning the hardest shot. Are you going to go to Pizza Hut to celebrate? And I'm going to try and do my best imitation of just kind of how he answers these questions, like the dry dead. He's like, well, I don't know. I know they have some food here, so I'm probably going to go eat that right now. But maybe a late night snack, I might dabble over there.
Hockey players, everybody.
It was funny if you were there. Like,
I know.
I know they got some food here, so I might go eat that right now. So that was good. Also important because we did. I forget who we picked, but for the chirping abilities, remember that was one of the things that they advertised, like as one of the skills that would be tested. So we didn't get an official winner on that. It all just kind of stayed, with the players and everything. But I had to ask, so I asked Geeky, who had the best chirping abilities today? And he said it was definitely Yanni. It was Yanni Gord. And he said his accent gives him a good head start.
Yeah,
I thought was an interesting comment. So yeah, Yanni Gord wins the chirping competition. I don't think we should be surprised.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I know what he means with the accent.
Yep, no, for sure. It certainly adds something to the chirps.
As someone who was a fan of a team with Marc-Andre Fleury for a long time, I get it.
Yep, for sure. Okay, one more thing that I forgot to mention early on. Sorry to go out of order here.
No, that's good.
But the intro, like when everything was getting introduced, before all the skills competition happened, you had Todd Lywicki come out and get the crowd fired up. Do it as best like Vince McMahon,
There we go.
Let's go. He's talking about the game the night before. He's like, they had a great game. Big Rig threw down, like just trying to get everyone fired up. You could tell he was certainly relishing the moment.
Yeah.
Trying to get everyone hyped. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. I was going to say, the one thing I want to know, any sightings of Coach Hackstall or Ron Francis?
No Ron Francis sightings, but did see Dave Hackstall, and I actually did manage to get a picture on the Jumbotron. It was funny. He was just wearing street clothes, which again just felt weird. It probably shouldn't because he's just a guy, but he was wearing jeans and just a light hoodie and everything. But yeah, he was just on the bench there for the start, wearing street clothes, smiling. It was interesting to see. That's for sure.
What subtle shade you're throwing, RJ? He's just a guy. No, yeah, because I was wondering, like, would you bring in like assistant coaches and have them go at it for something? And I thought, oh my gosh, ultimate flex, like, gotta have Ron Francis versus Coach Hack out there at some point to do something. Like, that would be that I think is the only like cherry on top they could add to something like this in years future.
For sure. I do want to see some non-current players, get involved with it. Like Ron Francis doing one of the skills thing, like accuracy shooting or something. Everyone would go nuts for that. Get Hackstall involved. I mean, that would be great. I'd like to see JT Brown. I would have wanted to see him kind of do one of the events because, we know he's still got it skills wise.
Yep.
So it would be cool to see. We saw him kind of warming up a little bit. They had him out there for warm-ups, and they also had Dave Tomlinson, from the Kraken, the radio there. And I mean, he's a former pro player, so he can still rip it. That's for sure. So yeah, get some of those guys involved. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you could elevate what sounds like a perfect afternoon, evening with the Kraken. Really happy that it all went so well.
Yeah, it was just a great event. So glad I got to go. And yeah, just more of them, please. Like keep doing it next year.
Exactly. It's surprising that more teams don't do this, and
yes.
but happy that the Kraken are. That's kind of all you could say, really. All right. I mean, we're basically at our hour mark, RJ. Don't really need to talk about that Arizona game from this past week, other than to just say why. And we had a really fun ECH postgame live talk about the win over the Ducks and the new potential budding rivalry we have with them and all the fun stuff there. No, I don't think we need to spend a lot of time with that one either. So, it is Super Bowl Sunday. We are recording this pre-Super Bowl. Got my Bengals hat on. Feel free if you watch this tomorrow for us on YouTube to either congratulate me on the Bengals win or offer your condolences. It's gonna be fun, but I think that's gonna do it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thank you as always for joining us, and we will see you all next time.